نحمده ونصلي على رسول الكريم أما بعد بسم الله. Today inshallah we'll continue from ayat number 7 of Surah Al-Rahman. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. كل من عليها فان, everyone upon the earth will perish. ويبقى وجه ربك ذو الجلال والإكرام, and there will remain the face of your Lord, honor, majesty and honor. فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ, so which of the favors of your Lord would you deny? The pronoun ha in alayha, kullu man alayha fan, the pronoun ha is referring to earth, as it's mentioned in the previous verse, verse number 10. And wajh literally means face, but refers to the being, the that of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The meaning becomes then, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is referring to creatures on earth, particularly man and jinn, that they will perish. However, that does not mean that other creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like the sky and the celestial bodies, will not perish. We learned that in Surah Qasas, ayat number 88, كُلُّ شَيْءٍ حَالِكٌ إِلَّا وَجْهَ, everything will perish save or except his face, meaning the being of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. يَسْأَلُهُ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ كُلَّ يَوْمٍ هُوَ فِي شَأْنٍ, whoever is within the heavens and the earth begs of him. Every day he is engaged in some matter. So كُلَّ يَوْمٍ literally means every day, but here it means at all times. And هُوَ فِي شَأْنٍ, meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is engaged in some task or activity. So imagine this, all creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, everything in the heaven and the earth, is asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala of a favor, is in need of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for something to go on with their activity, go on with their job, go on with their life. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is responding to their needs at all times. Such is the power of Allah. I mean, imagine the innumerable creations and multiply them by their never-ending needs. And yet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at any given point, at any given moment, is fulfilling their needs without any hardship on himself. As it comes in Surah Baqarah, ayat number 255, لَا تَأْخُذُهُ سِنَةٌ وَلَا نَوْمٌ, neither drowsiness overtakes him nor sleep. So he doesn't get tired of fulfilling the needs of all his creations. سَنَفْرُغُ لَكُمْ أَيُّهَا الثَّقَلَانِ فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ, He will attend to you, O prominent beings. So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny? Al-Thaqalan is a dual form of thaqal, which means load or burden. And here it's referring to two creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, man and jinn, because these two species are the beings of value. They have the choice and intellect on earth. We also learn about this meaning of Thaqalan from a narration narrated by Anas radhiyallahu anhu in Nisa'i. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in a long narration, part of it is, يَسْمَعُهَا مَنْ يَلِيهِ غَيْرُ الثَّقَلَيْنِ, everything near him hears except for two, jinns and man. So this hadith is in reference to the punishment in grave, and when someone is punished, everything hears except these two, jinns and man. So we know from this narration also that Thaqalain refers to man and jinn. So the word sanafrugu requires attention. It is derived from faragun, which means to be free from occupation. So when you're available. A question at this point would come to mind. So was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala busy with something before that time? So now he's saying, I will make myself available and free. Aliyadu billah. We should understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is above such situation, above such condition, and this word does not apply to him in the same sense that it applies to us humans. So how do we explain the meaning of faragh with respect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? It is used metaphorically to give importance to the accountability of humans and jinns on the day of judgment. So we see that in the previous verse, verse number 29, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, كُلَّ يَوْمٍ هُوَ فِي شَأْنٍ, that he is fulfilling needs of all creations in this world. But on the day of judgment, none of those needs will require any attention, because everything has been destroyed prior to the day of judgment, and now people have been resurrected so that they could be taken into account. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by using this metaphor, sanafro, is saying that there is no longer a need to focus or resolve the matters or all the other asks that his creation had of him. And at this point, the focus would be to take account of deeds from humans and jinns. يا معشر الجن والإنس إن استطعتم أن تنفذوا من أقطار السماوات والأرض فانفذوا لا تنفذون إلا بسلطان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. O company of jinn and mankind, if you are able to pass beyond the regions of the heavens and the earth, then pass. You will not pass except by authority from Allah. So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny? The word tanfudu means takhruju harban min qada'i, escape from my court or from my decision. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is challenging jinns and men to run away from death in this world and consequently accountability in the hereafter if they have the power to do so. Indeed, they do not have such ability to escape Allah's decree and decision. يرسل عليكما شواظ من نار ونحاس فلا تنتصران فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. There will be sent upon you a flame of fire and smoke, and you will not defend yourself. So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny? The word shuwazun means flame above fire that is just below smoke. So there is no smoke in it. It's the flame without any smoke. And nuhasun has two meanings. It means the smoke of the fire, and it also means molten brass. So if someone tries to escape on the day of judgment, then angels will bring him back by directing flames of fire and smoke or molten brass towards him. So this will force that person to come back to accountability. And la tantasiran comes from intisar, meaning to help someone in defense against something. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here is saying that jinn and men will not be able to assist each other in protecting against his punishment. فإذا انشقت السماء فكانت وردة كالدهان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. And when the heaven is split open and becomes rose-colored like oil, so which of the favors of your Lord would you deny? So on the day of judgment, the skies will open and they will melt, similar to metals like silver are melted when heated. And after melting, they will appear colored, similar to how a dye can stain something in different colors. Such is the description Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving to demonstrate the extent of horrors on the day of judgment. That even the sky, which is a heavenly body today, would get destroyed. And it will go through a transformation due to such calamity that it will become as if it has been burnt many times. فَيَوْمَئِذٍ لَا يُسْأَلُ عَنْ ذَنْبِهِ إِنسٌ وَلَا جَانٌ فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. Then on that day, none will be asked about his sin among men or jinn. So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny? One interpretation is that no one will be asked about his sin because it would be already recorded in the book of deeds. Another interpretation of this verse is that they will be questioned about their sins initially, but when they will deny, their mouths will be sealed. And then there will be no need to ask them anymore, since their hands and feet will bear witness against them. As it comes in Surah Al-Mursalat, ayat 35 and 36, هَذَا يَوْمُ لَا يَنْطِقُونَ وَلَا يُؤْذَنُ لَهُمْ فَيَعْتَذِرُونَ. That will be a day when they shall not speak, and they will not be permitted to put forth any excuse. A third interpretation of this verse is that this is referring to the angels of punishment, that they will not need to question the criminals because there will be obvious marks on the faces of these criminals. يُعْرَفُ الْمُجْرِمُونَ بِسِيمَاهُمْ فَيُؤْخَذُ بِالنَّوَاصِي وَالْأَقْدَامِ. The criminals will be known by their marks, and they will be seized by the forelocks and the feet. فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny? So the word بِسِيمَاهُمْ, meaning بِسُوَادِ الْوُجُوهِ وَذَرْقَةِ الْعُيُونِ. So what will happen is the criminals will be known by distinct marks, and those marks are considered to be black faces and blue eyes, and that will be the way to identify criminals on that day. And nawasi is a plural of nasiya, meaning forelocks or forehead, and aqdam is plural of qadam, meaning feet. What will happen is some criminals will be dragged by their foreheads and others by their feet. Or sometimes they are dragged by their foreheads and other times by their feet. Or another interpretation is that their foreheads and feet will be tied together before they are thrown in hellfire, and Allah knows best. هذه جهنم التي يكذب بها المجرمون يطوفون بينها وبين حميم آن فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. This is hell which the criminals deny. They will go around between it and blistering hot water, heated to the utmost degree. So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny? While disbelievers are being disgraced and punished, this will be said to them, that this is the fire that you used to deny, and now you see it right before your eyes. And the disbelievers will be punished sometimes with fire and other times with extremely hot water, which would be like molten copper, tearing apart their intestines and internal organs. As it comes in Surah Ghashiyah, تُسْقَى مِنْ عَيْنٍ آنِيَةٍ. They will be given to drink from a boiling spring. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after mentioning these two punishments, says, so which of the favors of your Lord would you deny? Meaning, it is a favor of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He will save believers from such torment, and yet others who disbelieved Him will be put through such punishment. Beyond this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then continues to describe the blessings and bounties reserved for righteous believers. وَلِمَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ جَنَّتَانِ فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. But for he who has feared the position of his Lord are two gardens. So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny? So the term مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ has two interpretations. First one is that this person is afraid of reckoning on Day of Judgment, and this fear of accountability and disgrace makes him avoid sins in this world. So maqam rabbi means he's afraid of standing in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that is making him avoid sins in this world. Narrated by Adi ibn Hatim in Bukhari, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, لَيَقِفَنَّ أَحَدُكُمْ بَيْنَ يَدِ اللَّهِ لَيْسَ بَيْنَهُ وَبَيْنَهُ حِجَابٌ وَلَا تُرْجُمَانٌ يُتَرْجِمُ لَهُ. No doubt, each one of you will stand in front of Allah, and there will be neither a curtain nor an interpreter between him and Allah. So similar to how a person in this world would fear standing before a judge in court due to committing a crime, and this fear acts as a deterrence for him, the person mentioned in this verse remains fearful of standing before Allah on the Day of Judgment to defend his sins, and this fear keeps him from going astray. Notice, this is an intrinsic state, not dependent on external factors. So this person does not show piety in front of others and becomes immoral when alone. A second interpretation of maqam rabbihi is that this person is conscious of the majesty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So maqam here means the status or the station of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This person is conscious of that station. And due to this awareness of his power and honor, he remains mindful every moment of his life not to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's commands. His consciousness of Allah prevents him from committing sins in public as well as private. Both interpretations have the same outcome, that a person is careful in his actions, remains mindful of the consequence of breaking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's commands, and most importantly, he behaves the same way in front of others and when alone. So we should not take this matter lightly when our actions are pretentious, because this disparity between the public and private is a serious matter. We learn from a narration narrated by Thawban in Ibn Majah, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, لَعَلَمَنَّ أَقْوَامًا مِنْ أُمَّتِي يَأْتُونَ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ بِحَسَنَاتٍ أَمْثَالِ الجِّبَالِ تِهَامًا بيضا فيجعلها الله عز وجل هباء منثورا. قال ثوبان: يا رسول الله صفهم لنا جلهم لنا ألا نكون منهم ونحن لا نعلم. قال: أما إنهم إخوانكم ومن جلدتكم ويأخذون من الليل كما تأخذون ولكنهم أقوام إذا خلوا بمحارم الله انتهكوها. I certainly know people of my nation who will come on the day of resurrection with good deeds like the mountain of Tihama, but Allah will make them like scattered dust. Thawban said, O Messenger of Allah, describe them to us and tell us more, so that we will not become of them unknowingly. He said, they are your brothers and from your race, worshipping at night as you do, but there will be people who, when they're alone, transgress the sacred limits of Allah. So again, we should reflect upon our own behavior, our day and night, our routine in front of people, and our behavior when we are alone. Do we see a disparity in our actions? And the way we think or the way we act, does it change when we are among people versus when we are alone? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us from being in this situation where a person would bring deeds, good deeds, that are the size of a big mountain like the Hama, and yet all of that effort, this person may even be, as Rasulullah said, praying at night, doing tahajjud prayer, and yet just because of his pretentious actions, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ignore all of his actions, all of his good deeds, and instead he will be punished. Going back to the verse, so what is the promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for a person who fears him? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says he will be given 2 gardens. And these gardens are just not any gardens. They are special gardens. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then goes on to describe the attributes of these gardens in the next few verses. ذواتا أفنان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان فيهما عينان تجريان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان فيهما من كل فاكهة زوجان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. Having spreading branches, so which of the favors of your Lord would you deny? In both of them are 2 springs flowing. So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny? In both of them are of every fruit 2 kinds. So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny? So these gardens have lots of branches. Afnan means branches, meaning they have plenty of trees which provide shade and produce fruit in abundance. And there will be 2 springs flowing in these gardens. It is said the names of those springs will be Tasneem and Salsabil. And every fruit that will be on these trees will have 2 types. Moreover, these fruits will hang lower, which will make it easy for people of paradise to pluck them and enjoy their taste. As it comes in the next ayah, مُتَّكِئِينَ عَلَى فُرُشٍ بَطَائِنُهَا مِنْ اسْتَبْرَقٍ وَجَنَى الْجَنَّتَيْنِ دَانٍ فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. They are reclining on beds whose lining are of silk brocade, and the fruits of the 2 gardens is hanging low. So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny? So the word istabraq means thick silk, brocade, embroidered with gold. And notice Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes the inside of these beds. So the inner part, bata'inuha, meaning the inner lining, would be of such an extraordinary quality that it is embroidered with gold. Imagine what it will look on the outer side. So this is just a way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling us, which is so beautiful, from the inside, imagine how it will be on the outer side. فيهن قاصرات الطرف لم يطمثهن إنس قبلهم ولا جان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. In them are women limiting their glances, untouched before them by man and jinn. So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny? كأنهن الياقوت والمرجان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. As if they were rubies and coral. So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny? هل جزاء الإحسان إلا الإحسان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. Is the reward for good anything but good? So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes here a principle that good deeds attract good reward. Therefore, the righteous believers will be given bounties and blessings in paradise. As it comes in Surah Yunus, ayat number 26, لِلَّذِينَ أَحْسَنُوا الْحُسْنَى وَزِيَادَةً. For those who have done good is the best and even more. وَمِن دُونِهِمَا جَنَّتَانِ فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. And below them, both in excellence, are two other gardens. So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny? So from this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala begins to describe two more gardens which are less in quality than the previous two gardens he mentioned. So these gardens will be dark green, mudhammatan, as it will come in the next verse, meaning they are dark green, and that means abundant in vegetation due to extensive irrigation in the area. There will be fruits in these two gardens as well, although not of the two types as mentioned previously. So remember, for the previous set of two gardens, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned how there will be two types of each fruit. And we said one could have a normal taste, one could have a very special taste. So those could be two different types. Narrated by Abdullah bin Qais in Bukhari, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said in explaining these verses, جنتان من فضة آنيتهما وما فيها وجنتان من ذهب آنيتهما وما فيها. Two gardens, the utensils and the contents of which are made of silver, and two gardens, the utensils and contents of which are of gold. So here in this hadith, Muslim is explaining how there are the first two gardens will be made of gold, and the second two gardens will be made of silver. And it is said that the first two gardens are for muqarribin, so those who are very close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then the second two gardens are for Ashabul Yamin. We will learn about these terms in Surah Waqiyah, so where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala divides people into three different groups. So muqarribin, Ashabul Yamin, and Ashabul Shimal. So these two first two set of gardens are for muqarribin, and the second two set of gardens are for Ashabul Yamin. Allahu a'lam. Mudhammatan فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. Dark green in color. So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny? فِيهِمَا عَيْنَانِ نَضَّاخَتَانِ فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. In both of them are two springs gushing. So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny? So here again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is now describing more and more blessings and qualities of those two gardens that are lower in grade than the previous two gardens. فِيهِمَا فَاكِهَةٌ وَنَخْلٌ وَرُمَّانٌ فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. In both of them are fruit and palm trees and pomegranates. So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny? So notice here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only mentions fruits, not the two types of fruits which is mentioned for the previous two gardens. فِيهِنَّ خَيْرَاتٌ حِسَانٌ فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. In them are good and beautiful women. So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny? حُورٌ مَقْصُورَاتٌ فِي الْخِيَامِ فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. Fair ones garden and pavilions. So this is continuation of the qualities of those women. لم يطمثهن إنس قبلهم ولا جان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. Untouched before by man and jinn, so which of the favors of your Lord would you deny? So from here, ulama derived that not only is it that humans will go to paradise, but also jinns will go to paradise, because here Allah is describing the qualities of these women, that they have not been touched before by either men or jinn, which means that there will be also jinn in paradise, and they will also have wives in paradise. So this is what we learned from the ayah, that jinns will also be entering the paradise. متكئين على رفرف خضر وعبقري حسان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. Reclining on green cushions and beautiful fine carpets, so which of the favors of your Lord would you deny? So the word rafrafin means cushions, and abqarin means fine, beautiful fabric or carpets. تبارك اسم ربك ذي الجلال والإكرام. Blessed is the name of your Lord, honor, majesty, and honor. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ends the surah with a reminder that He is the worthy of being honored and always obeyed, that He is to be remembered and never forgotten. This verse has two words that are special for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Dhul Jalali wal Ikram, meaning the owner of greatness and pride. We are advised by Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam to invoke these words during our dua. Narrated by Anas Radhiyallahu anhu and Tirmidhi, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, Alizu biyad al-jalali wal-ikram. Alizu biyad al-jalali wal-ikram. Be constant with, O possessor of majesty and honor, meaning be firm in continuously using this attribute to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for anything that you need, and it has special power. Narrated by Aisha anha in Sunan Abi Dawud, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used to say after saying salam of prayers, Allahumma anta salamu minka salam, tabarakta ya dhal jalali wal ikram. O Allah, you are as-salam, and from you is as-salam. You are blessed, O possessor of glory and honor. So notice the use of Dhul Jalali wal Ikram after every fourth prayer. So this was the habit of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and hence the importance of remembering to use this particular set of words, particular sets of name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your dua. Let's quickly review at 62 to 78. So we learn about the qualities of the two gardens for Ashabul Yameen, the people of the right, and they would have fruits in these gardens. They would have two springs. There would be a beautiful woman, and they would be reclining on cushions and beautiful carpets. And again, this is just reflective of some of the qualities of these two gardens. And similar to humans, the jinns will also enter paradise and live with wives, and only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one being worthy of honor and majesty. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم.